Imagine serving tea for a few cents a cup while watching millionaires drive away without even glancing at you. Most people would accept that life. He refused every single day while pouring cups of tea. He was silently studying something nobody around him could see, the exact habits, decisions and mindset that separated the wealthy from everyone else. People saw a struggling street vendor. What they didn't see was a future empire being built, one lesson at a time. Years later, that same tea seller controlled a business worth over $100 million, and the secret behind his rise will completely change how you think about money. Part 1. The Tea Seller's Secret. Every morning before sunrise, a young man pushed a rusty tea cart through empty streets, alone, cold, and invisible to the world around him. He earned barely enough to eat, and every single day, wealthy businessmen stepped out of expensive cars, bought a cup of tea, and walked away without ever looking at his face. To them, he was nobody. But behind his quiet smile, something extraordinary was happening. While every other vendor counted coins, he collected something far more valuable: information. Every customer who stood at his cart was unknowingly giving him a free education. Business deals discussed over chai, investment strategies shared between sips, success stories, failure stories, lessons that business schools charge thousands to teach. He absorbed every single word. The tea cart wasn't just a cart, it was the most powerful classroom he had ever entered. Then, one afternoon, a wealthy businessman said something that stopped him completely. Poor people work for money. Rich people make money, work for them. 7 words. That was all. But those 7 words hit him like a thunderbolt. And that night, he couldn't sleep. For the first time, he understood that working harder wasn't the answer. Thinking differently was. From that moment, everything shifted. He saved every single dollar. He studied business obsessively. He asked questions nobody else bothered asking. He watched successful people like a hawk studying its prey. The street became his university. Every customer became his professor. Then one day, completely out of nowhere, an opportunity appeared. It was small. It was risky. It required almost every dollar he had ever saved. His family begged him to walk away. His friends called him foolish. But deep inside, something told him this was the moment he had been preparing for his entire life. And he said yes. Part 2. The decision that changed everything. One afternoon, a shop owner who bought tea every day pulled him aside and whispered something. His business was growing fast, but he needed money to keep going. He was looking for someone to invest. The tea seller listened carefully. Then he heard the number. To join, he would need almost every single dollar he had spent years saving. His hands went cold. His heart started racing. This was either the biggest opportunity of his life or the biggest mistake. That night, he sat alone staring at his small savings box. Every coin inside that box had a story. Early mornings, tired legs, hot summers, cold winters. Years of pain packed into one tiny box. What if he lost it all? What if everyone laughing at him was right? But then a scarier thought appeared. What if he never tried? What if he spent the rest of his life wondering what could have happened? The next morning, he made his decision. With shaking hands, he handed over nearly everything he owned. The moment the money left his fingers, his stomach dropped. There was no going back, no safety net, no guarantee, just a quiet prayer and a lot of fear. Days passed, then weeks. Nothing happened. No news, no profit, no sign that anything was working. Every morning he woke up feeling sick with worry. Every night he went to sleep, hoping tomorrow would be different. Then one afternoon, a message arrived. The business was not failing. It was exploding. Sales were breaking records. Money started coming in without him pushing his cart a single inch. For the first time in his life, money was working for him. He thought the hard part was finally over. He was completely wrong. Part 3. The mistake that almost ruined him. For the first time in his life, money was coming in while he slept, while he ate, while he rested. The investment was working better than he had ever imagined. Every week the numbers grew bigger. Every week his confidence grew even bigger. He started dreaming about a better house, better clothes, a better life. It felt like he had finally cracked the code, like nothing could stop him now. But that feeling, that dangerous, comfortable feeling, was about to become his biggest enemy. When a new business opportunity appeared, he didn't study it carefully like before. He didn't ask hard questions. He didn't check the risks. He saw other people making money and thought, this will be easy. So he took a large chunk of his savings and invested it without thinking twice. At first, everything looked perfect. The numbers looked good. The people seemed trustworthy. He relaxed. Then the bad news started coming. Slowly at first, then all at once. Customers disappeared. Sales collapsed. Problems appeared from every direction. Day after day, the money he had worked years to save began shrinking. Every morning brought more bad news. Every evening felt heavier than the last. The tea seller, who had once felt unstoppable, now felt completely helpless. He could barely sleep. He could barely eat. He finally understood a truth that most people learn too late. Making money is hard, but keeping money is even harder. Then, just when everything looked completely hopeless, he noticed something hidden inside the failing business. Something tiny. Something everyone else had completely missed, and that small discovery was about to change absolutely everything. Part 4. The Empire Nobody Saw Coming. While everyone else saw a failing business, he saw something different. Hidden inside all the chaos and losses was a small opportunity, overlooked, undervalued, and completely ignored by everyone around him. He had lost money. He had lost sleep. But he had gained something far more powerful, the ability to see what others couldn't. And this time, he moved carefully, quietly, and with absolute precision. Slowly, things began turning around. The struggling business found its footing. Then it grew. Then it grew again. One smart decision led to another. One business became 2. 2 became 5. 5 became an empire. The same man who once prayed over a small savings box was now making decisions worth millions of dollars. The people who had laughed at his tea cart were now sitting across from him, asking for advice. But here is the part that nobody expected. He never changed. Not really. He still woke up early. He still studied every single day. He still saved before he spent. He never forgot the cold mornings, the tired legs, or the fear of losing everything. Because he understood something most wealthy people forget. The habits that built the empire were the same habits he learned beside a rusty tea cart on an empty street. Years later, when people asked for his secret, they expected something complicated. Instead, he said something simple. I never stopped learning. I never stopped saving, and I never let anyone else decide the size of my dreams. And that was it. No magic formula, no lucky break, no secret shortcut. Just a young man who refused to accept the life the world had planned for him, and quietly, patiently, one cup of tea at a time, built something the entire world could see.
Hey, if this video gave you something to think about, that's exactly why I make these every single day. Most of this stuff nobody ever teaches you, and I just think that needs to change. So if you got value today, hit subscribe.